Hi there! Welcome to another video lesson on statistics and probability. Our topic is about solving problems involving sampling distribution of the sample mean. Objectives: 1. Identify the steps in solving problems on sampling distribution of the sample mean. And 2. Solve problems involving sampling distribution of the sample mean. The concept of the standard error of the mean is very significant since it measures the degree of accuracy of the sample mean as an estimate of population mean. There is a good estimate if the standard error is small or close to zero, and a poor estimate if it is large. The value of the standard error depends mainly on the sample size, represented by small letter n. Specifically, as n increases, the standard error decreases. The most remarkable theorem in statistical inference is the central limit theorem, which assures that no matter what the shape of the population distribution is, the sampling distribution of the mean is closely normally distributed whenever n is large. This fact holds true for sample sizes greater than or equal to 30. In the previous topics, you have learned how to use the normal distribution to calculate the probability of a random variable x at a given value. In this lesson, you will use the sampling distribution of the mean to get the probability of the given sample mean taken from the population. Sampling distribution of sample mean is a frequency distribution of the mean computed from all possible random samples of a specific size taken from a population. The probability distribution of the sample mean is also called the sampling distribution of the sample mean. As we move along, let us answer the following questions. Number 1. What do we mean by sampling distribution of the sample mean? Number 2. When do we use the following formulas? Letter A, z is equal to x minus the population mean divided by the standard deviation. And B, z is equal to the sample mean minus population mean divided by the quotient of the standard deviation and the square root of the sample size. And then lastly, how will you solve problems involving sampling distribution of the sample mean with less than, greater than, and between cases? Is the idea applicable to a single observation? What do we mean by sampling distribution of the sample mean? A sampling distribution of the sample mean is a frequency distribution of the sample mean computed from all possible random samples of a specific size and taken from a population. The probability distribution of the sample mean is also called the sampling distribution of the sample mean. The standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the sample mean is also known as the standard error of the mean. When do we use the following formulas? Letter A, z is equal to x minus population mean minus over standard deviation. We use this formula when or if the problem is dealing with an individual data obtained from the population. So as you can see in our formula, our data or the variables itself in the given formula are all taken from the population. We have the x value, we have the population mean, and the population standard deviation. Letter B, we will be using this formula if the problem is dealing with data about the sample mean or the n observations. In short, meron siyang given na sample size. So, yan ang pagkakaiba ng dalawang formula na yan. Yung letter A, it pertains to the population. Yung letter B, meron na siyang given na sample size. How will you solve problems involving sampling distribution of the sample mean with less than, greater than, and between cases? Is the idea applicable to a single observation? We will answer this through examples. So let us have this example called probable time. The mean time it takes a group of senior high students to complete a written examination is 50.6 minutes. Take note, mean time. So this is a mean. The standard deviation is 6 minutes. Assume that the variable is normally distributed. Number 1 question. What is the probability that a randomly selected senior high school student will complete the examination in less than 48 minutes? So let us have the steps in solving this kind of problem. So let us have the solution. Again, here is the probable time, our first problem. Then let us answer the question, what is the probability that a randomly selected senior high school student will complete the examination in less than 48 minutes? So let us have this step by step. Step 1, of course, is we will identify the given information. And we have the population mean, which is 50.6 minutes, the standard deviation of 6 minutes, and the x, which is 48 minutes. After that, second step is to identify what is asked for. So we will go back to the problem. What is asked is, what is the probability that a randomly selected senior high school student will complete the examination in 48 minutes, in less than 48 minutes? So we will be looking for the probability that a randomly selected senior high school student will complete the exam in less than 48 minutes. So ganito ang magiging inequality symbol niya. Number 3, step 3 is to identify the formula to be used. So, kanina sa dalawang formulang given, meron tayong dalawa, A and B. Ano sa dalawa ang gagamitin natin? Since ang given natin ay population mean, standard deviation, at saka yung value ng x. So, ang gagamitin nating formula ay yung z is equal to x minus population mean divided by the standard deviation. So the problem is dealing with an individual data obtained from the population. So the formula to be used is z equals x minus population mean divided by the standard deviation to convert 48 to standard score or UZ na tinatawag. And then lastly, yung step 4, compute for the probability. So, i-compute na natin yung probability by using the formula. So, yung formula ay z equals x minus mu or the population mean divided by standard deviation. Our x is 48 the population mean is 50.6, and then the standard deviation is 6. That's why we have 48 minus 50.6 divided by 6. Then, performing the operation, we got z is equal to negative 0.43. Then, since meron tayong value ng z, we will now find the probability of x less than 48 by getting the area under the normal curve. So, yung probability of x less than 48 will now be probability of z less than negative 0.43. Kaya kung i-graph natin, yan, and we will locate negative 0.43, kung ito ang 0, ito yung negative 1, ang negative 0.43 ay nandito. Since less than yan, ang may shade natin ay itong area na to. So, ano daw ba ang probability nitong area na to? So, first, we will look for the value of negative 0.03. So, pag hinanap yan, review ulit tayo and finding the value. This will be 0.04 dito sa z values. Tapos sa hundreds, ito yung 0.03. Kukuhanin lang natin yung intersection nila. And we have 0.1664. Ang nakuha natin na yan ay ito. Itong part na to. 0.1664. Yan yung area na yan kung nasaan yung 0.1664. Ang kailangan natin ay yung area na nasa left ni 0.1664. For us to get that, since we know that half of the normal curve is 0.5,000, itong buong to ay 0.5,000 or 50%, what we're going to do is to subtract 0.1664 from 0.5,000. And the difference is 0.3336. So, therefore, the probability that a randomly selected college student will complete the examination in less than 48 minutes is 0.336 or 33.36%. So, ayan yun. Ito yung may shaded region. Yun yung hinahanap natin. Number 2 question. Galing pa rin dun sa probable time, yung data. If 49 randomly selected senior high school students take the examination, what is the probability that the mean time it takes the group to complete the test will be less than 48 minutes? Step 1. Identify the given information. So, sabi ko nga, ang problem nito ay kanina, yung isang problem natin sa probable time, same ang population mean, same ang standard deviation. This time, mula dito sa statement na to, sa tanong na to, meron tayong sample size, which is 49. So, n is 49, and then the question is, what is the probability that the mean time it takes the group to complete the test will be less than 48 minutes. So, si 48 minutes ay ang ating sample mean. So, yan, yung apat na given. Step 2, identify mo what is asked. So, ayan nga, what is the probability that the mean time it takes the group to complete the test in less than 48 minutes? Kaya, the probability of x less than 48. The probability of the mean time, the sample mean less than 48 minutes. And then, of course, yung step 3, let us identify the formula to be used. Since present ang sample size, we will be using the second formula. The problem is dealing with data about the sample mean or n observations. So the formula to be used is this one. And then step 4, we will compute for the probability. Substituting all the given to the given formula, we'll have 48 minus 50.6 divided by 6 over square root of 49. So ang nakuhang z value ay negative 3.03. Find the probability of the sample mean less than 48 by getting the area under the normal curve. So ang mangyayari, yung probability of the sample mean is less than 48, magiging probability of z less than negative 3.03. So, ang gagawin natin, ang solution yan para mahanap yan, ilolocate, hanapin muna natin yung 3.03. Ito siya, 3.0 at saka yung 03. Kuhanin natin ang intersection. Ito yon. That's 0.4988. Ito yung area na yon. Ito yung walang shade kasi lagi kong pinapaalala na ang area or ang probability na given sa z-table ay laging mula sa mean papunta dun sa value ni z. So, 0.4988 is the area of this region. Ang hinahanap natin ay probability less than negative 3.03. So, ito yung red na yon. So, nakikita nyo, merong 0.0012. Yan ay galing sa subtracting 0.4988 from 0.5000. Since we know that half or the whole, half of the normal curve is 5,000. So, ima-minus lang natin yung value na nakuha natin sa negative 3.03 na 0.4988. That's why nakuha yung 0.0012. The probability that 49 randomly selected senior high school students will complete the test in less than 48 minutes is 0.0012 or 0.12%. Number 3. If 49 randomly selected senior high school students take the examination, what is the probability that the mean time it takes the group to complete the test will be more than 51 minutes? So, yan ang tanong. Again, the population mean is 50.6, the standard deviation is 6, the sample mean is 51, and the sample size is 49. Yun, identify na natin yung mga given. This time, sa step 2, we will identify what is asked. So, ang tanong sa atin, what is the probability that the mean time is, will be, or the mean time it takes the group to complete the test will be 51 minutes. The probability of the mean is greater than 51. Yan ang tanong. So, sa step 3, identify the formula. Since the problem is dealing with data about the sample mean or sample size or n observations, the formula is z equals sample mean minus population mean divided by the standard deviation over the square root of n. And then, papasok na tayo sa step 4. Yung mga given natin, ilalagay lang natin sa formula. So, 51, kasi ang mean natin ay 51, minus population mean 50.6 over standard deviation na 6 divided by square root of 49. Ang nakuhang value ni z ay 0.47. Find the probability of the sample mean greater than 51 by getting the area under the normal curve. So we have the probability of the sample mean greater than 51 will be the probability of z greater than 0.47 kasi na-change na natin yung x into z. And then, kung ating kukuhanin, may dalawang paraan paano mag-compute ito. Yung una, ganitong way. So, kung ipapakita natin sa normal curve, Meron tayo dito. I-locate muna natin kung nasaan ang 0.47. So, kung ito ang 1, nandito siya. Since greater than, itong 0.47, since greater than 0.47, ang may shade sa atin ay itong nasa kanan. Now, i-locate natin or hanapin natin ang value ng 0.47. Hanapin natin yung 0.47 sa z-table. Ito ay 0.4 at saka 0.07. Yan. So, ito yung 0.4. Ito yung 0.07. Hanapin natin ang intersection nila. Tsaka to, ang lalabas ay 0.1808. Again, ang area na yan ay itong part 0.1808. Yan. Ang kailangan ko ay ang portion na to, itong red na to. So, ang ginawa dito, since ang area na to ay 0.1808, tapos ang area sa kabila ay 0.5000, inad itong dalawang to, itong 0.5000 tsaka 0.1808, kaya nakuha yung 0.6808. Since ito lang ang kailangan kong shaded region, it's more than, since ang hinihingi ay more than 0.47, what will I do with 0.6808 is to subtract it from 1, since we know that the total area or total probability of a normal curve is 1. So 1 minus 0.6808 will give us 0.3192. Yung isa naman na sinasabi ko, ito yung unang technique para makuha yung probability of z greater than 0.47 or probability of x greater than 51. Yung isa, sa normal curve pa rin, para makita nyo lang yung difference. Ito yung 0, andito yung 1, ang 0.47 ay nandito. So, ganun pa rin. Ganun pa rin, ito pa rin ang kailangan mong area. Ito pa rin, yung nasa kanan pa rin. Since nakuha natin that the area or the value of z, the probability of z equals 0.47 is this one, 0.1808. And we know that half of the normal curve is 0.5000. We can simply subtract 0.1808 from 0.5000. That's why we have 0.3192, which we have the same answer. So any of the two can be used in finding the probability. The probability that 49 randomly selected senior high school students will complete the test in more than 51 minutes is 0.3192 or 31.92%. So let's have number 4. If 49 randomly selected senior high school students take the examination, what is the probability that the mean time it takes the group to complete the test is between 47.8 and 53 minutes? So this time it's between. Again, the population mean is 50.6. The standard deviation is still 6. And our means are between 47.8 and 53 with the sample size equals to 49. Then, step 2 again is to identify what is asked. So we are asked to get the probability that the mean time it takes the group to complete the test is between 47.8 and 53 minutes. So yun yung tanong. Step 3, let us identify the formula to be used. Again, the problem is dealing with data about the sample mean or N observation. So may N tayo, may sample size tayong given. Kaya, the formula to be used to standardize 47.8 and 53 is Z equals the sample mean minus population mean divided by the standard deviation over the square root of the sample size. So, doon natin gagamitin yan. Eh, since between yung ating hinahanap, dalawa yung kukuhanan natin ng value. Yung x less than 47.48 tsaka x less than 53. So, ganon. So, dito, magiging 47.8 minus 50.6 divided by 6 over square root of 49. Ang nakuha niyang z ay negative 3.27. Sa kabila, 53 minus 50.6 over divided by 6 over square root of 49, ang nakuha niyang z ay 2.8. So, meaning to say, the probability of x or the sample mean greater than 47.8 will be having probability of z that is greater than negative 3.27. And then, finding for the value of negative 3.27 on the z table, kukuhanin muna natin yung 3.27. So, 3.27 ay 3.2 at saka 0.07. So, ang 3.2 mo ito, tapos ang 0.07 mo ayan, intersection nila will have 0.4995. So, may dalawang proseso ulit pa paano hanapin. Dito muna sa unang proseso tayo. Ang 3 negative 3.27, ang area niya ay 0.4995. So, kung i-graph natin yan, para lang makita at ma-visualize, ako palaging nagbi-visualize para alam ko kung anong kukuhanin kong area. Tapos, considering kung less than or greater than siya para alam mo din kung ano at saang side ang may shade, anong hinahanap mo. So, ang negative 3.27 ay nandito. Tapos, yung isa, positive 2.8 ay nandito. Sabi, si Z is between 2.8 and negative 3.27. So, therefore, ang may shade dyan ay yung nasa gitna. Ito, mula dito hanggang dyan. So, yan ang kailangan nating hanapin. Take note also that the area or the probability given in the Z table always from the mean going to the value of Z. So, ang nakuha nating 3 value or probability ni 3.27 ay mula dito hanggang dito sa 3.27. So, ito yon. Ito yung side na yon, 0.4995. Si 2.8 naman ay 2.8 tsaka 00. Si 2.8 ay 2.8 tsaka 00. So, ang intersection yan ay 0.4974. So, ito yon, 0.4974. So, ang gagawin for us to find the total probability, since alam natin na itong side na to ay 0.4995, ang side na to ay 0.4974, what we're going to do is just to add these two. So, pag inad natin yan, so, by adding the areas taken from this region, the negative 3.27 and the area taken from the area 2.8, adding these two together, we have 0.9969. So, the probability that the mean time it takes the group to complete the test between 47.8 and 53 minutes is 0.9969 or 99.69%. The reference of this lesson is the statistics and probability, the pivot copy. And thank you for watching the video. And if you are new with my channel, don't like to subscribe and feel free to comment at the comment section. Goodbye, class.